Welcome to the DigiTavern Podcast. On today's episode, we discuss my current WoW lore knowledge. We jump into the Lore Books podcast, and we get hyped for the Critgamer LAN party that we're going to this weekend. So if you'd be so kind, Bard, as to spin that record.
Got you, fam. Let's do it.
Barkeep, pour me a drink. Hey, Bard, spin that shit.
So, Johnny, how have you been this week, dude? I haven't
Been good,
seen
man.
you at all.
I know, no, we saw each other.
What,
we saw each
Tuesday?
other
Tuesday?
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Was
that's
it Tuesday? Oh, it was Tuesday. That was my only day off that week. Yeah. Yeah, we saw each other.
Yeah, we went
But-
raging.
Yeah, we did. But other than that, just busy. Work's busy. Getting everything ready for our podcast and the release of Lore Books. We've been busy, but nothing we can't handle. So, been doing well. How about yourself? What are you doing, Freddie?
I've been busy with work and just everyday life, doing things. That's about it. Not much going on this week, except we got drunk on Tuesday, which is, that's how you know we're living life.
You know, when you have 2 or 3 podcasts or 4 podcasts in the internets, you can get drunk as much as you want.
On a Tuesday.
Up on a Tuesday. That's okay. Yeah, no, we're doing things, man. We're busy. We're 2 busy guys, and that's all right. I like how there's Mario in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Fredo, you sound pretty clear today, man. What's going on there?
Well, not as clear as I want to sound, but I did get a new mic. Eventually, I'll get a better mic. Yeah, last week's podcast I listened to, and I apologized. I sound a little low. I think I don't know what it was, but there was also I couldn't speak too loudly because people were asleep. But today they're asleep right now, and I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and it's a struggle to do all this, to be honest, but it's all right because we're working with what we have right now, and we're getting them out there. We're doing what we need to do. We're taking care of business, and that's all that matters right now.
Yeah, it'll get better with time, I'm sure.
Hell yeah! So with this week going by, we've had a lot of things on our plate as far as websites concerned. You and I got together. We got to talk about one of our projects that we're working on here, which is the official title and name for our lore section of the podcast, and that is, would you like to let them know?
Drum roll. Lore Books Podcast.
Lore Books Podcast. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good name, and it kind of captures everything that we're doing here at the DigiTavern and what we're trying to do and build here.
Yeah, I like it. I think you came up with it. Mine was Lore Nuts.
Lore Nuts.
You didn't like that, and I was like, whatever.
It's not that I didn't like it. I just didn't say anything about it at all.
And I meant lore nuts, as in, we're crazy about lore, not...
Yeah.
Yeah, people might have got different. But it's okay. We decided on Lore Books. As soon as I heard it, I was like, yep, that's the one.
And Lore Books is cool because you and I, we play a lot of Elder Scrolls Online, and that's one of the big things that we kind of hunt down when we're playing that game, because it's kind of what we're
we
doing.
always go, at least I always go crazy.
Well, I've found them. Because I've played it longer than you have. I've found a bunch of them already.
God, spoiling it again. And I also hate that you don't let me read them. You'll be like, come on, let's go. I'm like, I just want to read this.
We only have so much time in the day to play video games, so it's we gotta do what we gotta do.
But I want
But
to sit here and read a book while I'm playing video games. That's
but
all I
that's
want
what
to do.
but that's what Lore Books podcast is about. We get to sit down, read books, and discuss what we're reading, essentially.
Yeah, it's good.
And it's gonna be really cool because with what we're jumping into for the first round of Lore Books, and we're still kind of working with when we're going to put them out there as far as like release them, how frequently. We definitely want to get it out there as quick as we can and as frequently as we can, but we want to make sure that it's a good podcast. We want this to be the thing that we're known for. And there's a, I don't want to say pressure, but there's a definite amount of pressure on making this podcast as good as we can.
Yeah, we don't want to put it out there, and then we have to come back later and kind of refine it.
Yeah.
You want to do like you don't. I've never, at least I have never heard of a publisher publishing a book and then redacting it. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we put a book out there, a lore book podcast, we want it to be there forever. Just kind of like a point of reference that people can go back and listen to if they want to know, hey, what happened during this part or something like that. They can go
Yeah.
back on there, and we strictly want it to be fact-based, as close to fact as we can, because you know how
Yeah.
stuff changes.
Yep.
But hopefully since there's actual concrete knowledge out there, we want to go that route, and we want to just talk about it. So
And that's really a tribute to the games and the lore that we're covering, because we want to go right by them. We want to do right by these games, because the games that we're picking to start off with, at least, are games that we really appreciate and we have a tremendous amount of respect for. So we want to do them right, and we don't want to put out half-assed material. And it's like Freddie said, like, we don't want to screw anything up. So we want to make sure we refine, check, and make sure we're giving you good stuff. And if that means Fredo going out there and buying like a $200 microphone, that's Fredo's problem, not mine.
So I want to do like a personal thing for me, honestly, is to learn more about these games, because I do know some lore. I do know, some of this stuff that's going on, but I could be better at it. I could learn a proper way to really do it, So I kind of want to do like a short experiment. Like right now, I want to talk about my World of Warcraft knowledge, which I know Johnny's like almost master class in this. I've seen him go off for like 20 to 30 minutes with some random stranger just about like the lore in WoW. So for me, I never really got to play World of Warcraft. When it started,
shame.
I just, maybe it didn't catch my eye as much. So I'm a little bit newer when it comes to like the lore of what's going on. But yeah, I want to gauge how much lore or knowledge I have of World of Warcraft. And right now I do have like the Chronicles book, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So I do know a lot about like the beginning
And the creation.
like
Mm-hmm.
like there's the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that really piqued my interest, like at the beginning, was like the Curse of the Flesh.
Yeah, that's
Like
a good
that
one.
like I was like, dude, that's so cool. When I was reading that, about how at first they were like chiseled out of stone,
Yeah.
like the humans or whatever, and then once they got that curse, that's how they became like flesh.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah,
I was like, dude, that's an awesome way to introduce like humans.
Well,
into
it
this
was.
world.
Well, you also have to remember, like, when the Titans created their Titan Forged, which were these beings that existed on Azeroth in the stead of the Titans, because they were just too massive in size to really kind of interact with the planet itself. The Titan Forged were made so that they can kind of monitor it. But then after so long, with so much time, the Curse of the Flesh kind of ended up screwing all that over. And that's how we end up getting, like, so much cool lore and story. Like, there's a big part of WoW that I think people tend to forget, which is that there is a lot of, like, there's a lot of weird influence in both, like, Viking mythology and Egyptian mythology. And it's the way it's kind of combined into WoW or Warcraft or Azeroth. It's a weird combination how they do it, but it's really cool because once you get into it, then that's when you really get into the good stuff of lore for Warcraft or WoW, whatever.
Yeah, it gets deep, dude. Like at one point, I was reading about how the Fae came to be, or not the Fae, like what's that place where the Emerald Dragon is from?
Oh, the Emerald Dream.
Yeah, the Emerald Dream. Yes, like that. Like I was reading about how it came to be and all that.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Like I said, my knowledge is like I do know a little bit about it, but there's plenty that I can go back and read and go over and really kind of gauge what knowledge I have. Because right now it's like it's little. I know little things. I think in the lore podcast, I don't know if we want to say this yet, but I think we're going to kind of focus on the beginning of World of Warcraft, of the game.
Yeah.
So we kind of want to get into the Battle of Mount Hyjal? Hyjal, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm reading up on that right now, which is pretty cool. And I think that's the battle that started really. It's towards the end of World of Warcraft 3 or Warcraft 3?
Warcraft 3, yeah. So
yeah, it's like
those are the things that we're kind of getting into, and since we're kind of talking about it now, like we can kind of get into it a bit, and because with the release of Warcraft or World of Warcraft Vanilla or Classic as it's called, we have a really cool opportunity here to kind of jump on the back of the release of Vanilla and kind of reintroduce players to the lore and history of the game. And for someone like you who never really got to experience Vanilla, well, now you have your opportunity with the release of Classic. So it's really good chance and good timing for all of us to kind of brush back up on our history and lore of WoW. And there's really no better place to start than in Warcraft 3 with the Battle of Mount Hyjal, because that's kind of like the beginning of leaving one age and entering a new age. And there's just so much content and information between that is so confusing at times, because there's that time walking element with like what's going on in another planet like millions of light years away, but it's happening now, and it gets confusing. But that's why we're picking World of Warcraft right now and starting where we're starting, because it's a good time to do it.
Yeah, and honestly, we're just gonna spoil everything. So
well, the game has been out forever, so.
But yeah, I mean, we are gonna talk about things that happen. Wow, and at one point we might spoil something for you, and we apologize, but it's really just kind of what we want to get into.
Yeah,
so if you do not want to get spoiled on any of this, you kind of want to learn it yourself, maybe beat the games or something, and come back and listen to us, at least the Lore Books podcast, because there might be some stuff that gets spoiled in there. This is just your fair warning for whenever you listen to it.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, like, kind of going back to what you said in episode 0, we kind of want to make this podcast Lore Books. We want to make it kind of like a compendium to the games themselves. So that way, like, if you're reading something or if you're playing something in game and you kind of get a little confused with whatever's going on, you can kind of listen to this podcast and kind of pick back up, or at least pick up on some little details that may have been lost to you in game. And we just kind of want to help you guys kind of understand the games a little bit better. And for a game like WoW that's been around for so long, it can be a pain in the butt to kind of sit there and just kind of filter through all these like volumes, chronicles, Wikipedia entries, Reddit posts, gameplay, YouTube videos. It can be kind of hard. So we're going to do that work for you, and we're going to kind of condense it to like a good podcast so that you guys can follow along.
Honestly, you're not kidding. Like I grabbed a brief snippet of what the Battle of Hydril is, of Mount Hydril, and it's 9 pages long. Like,
Yeah,
like
it's awesome.
It's crazy. So we I'm gonna learn a lot from here. I think it's a good experiment to kind of, like, at one point I want you to be able to tell me, like, hey, what is this? I'll be like, boom, you know, because right now I could barely say Battle of Mount Hydril properly.
But see, this is kind of like the challenge for not only the podcast itself, but for us. Like, we are kind of doing something that we wouldn't typically do unless it was kind of like a spur of the moment kind of thing, and just kind of ramble on to people about lore. But at the same time, we're also kind of challenging ourselves to kind of learn more, to like to refine the details of the not the podcast, but of the lore that we're talking about. So like when we get past World of Warcraft and we get into something else, like Final Fantasy, for example, I'm not good at Final Fantasy lore. It confuses me because it's all in a different timeline or different worlds and different universe, but everything's the same, but nothing's the same because no one knows of each other. I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense to me. But hopefully with this project that we're doing, I'll learn.
Yeah, that's the hope for me as well. Just
Or
kind
I'll
of,
just give up.
because I mean I can read up on, I do already read up on this stuff on my own, but actually having someone to talk to and bounce ideas around with it, like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we're moving towards right now. And it may be a little confusing to try to figure out what we're about here, but we've got it covered. We know what we're doing, sort of.
So yeah, like I said, I was gonna test, my knowledge. I kind of want to throw a little quick test at your knowledge for
Oh
WoW.
boy. Let's do it.
So,
Quick, let me Google real fast. Hold on.
what can you tell me about the?
What you
Oh
got?
my god.
Can't even come up with a solid question.
I know, it's because I don't know the name of this dragon, but it's like it was a blue sapphire dragon, and it was really sad when it went down.
Blue dragon that was really sad when it went down.
Okay, I was playing World of Warcraft.
Okay.
I was in the Emerald Dream,
Oh, what?
I believe. Was it the Emerald Dream? And then everything started going red. Like, everything was getting poisoned and everything was turning red. And this dragon went, like, angry. Like, it got taken over. So one of the things
I don't want to talk about that. God.
It's too sad.
Yes.
Fine, okay, I'll throw another one on.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And you're talking about, and she's not blue. She's green.
Yes.
And that's Ysera. And again, like, fair warning, spoiler alert, going forward with this. Ysera is the green dragon aspect, and she's the guardian of the Emerald Dream. And yeah, that scene you're talking about is the introduction to Legion, where you're kind of going through the starting zone. I forget the name of it, but you're moving through there, and then all of a sudden Ysera she turns red because of the corruption, and it's just like, it's the saddest thing because you have to get her tear to kind of rebuild and save Azeroth from the Legion kind of corrupting everyone. It sucks. It sucks because for me, like, I play a druid and I play a night elf druid. So Ysera is kind of like, she's not technically the matron of them, but she's like created in their image. Plus she watches the Emerald Dream, so it's like they go hand in hand, druids, night elves, stuff like that. But when she passed away, God, it's so hard to talk about.
I knew it would get you, that's why I brought it up.
There was absolutely nothing she could do. It was gonna happen, and even though it was just created and made up, like it's a made up character, it's a made up plot, whatever, they did it. There was really nothing she could do to prevent any of that. Like that was probably one of the most terrible scenes in Legion because it was the
All right, calm down. You know, my question was just, what is her name?
Zero.
I didn't
Makes me
tell
sad,
you to go into
dude.
the background.
Guy, it makes you don't understand. Like, and I think I've told you this before. Like, well, you can't do it now because they've patched her out. But there was a couple patches prior to Battle for Azeroth where Sierra was still available. Like, she was still like living like as an NPC in the Moonglade. And the Moonglade is where all druids go to basically it's like a neutral zone for druids, and you go there just to kind of rekindle with the druid spirit. But
Just hang out.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Because there's really not much you do there anymore. But there was during Cataclysm, I think, Ysera was there, and she was working with like the well that's in Moonglade. So she was standing there and just kind of in her night elf form. And sometimes after Legion, like when she died, like I would go back to Moonglade just to see her, because I was like, she's still alive, but she's not. So but it's not unlike, this happens. Dragon aspects can die. Like, look at what was his name, Malagos. Like, it's happened before. It just sucks that it happened to Ysera because she's top notch. Like, she's a good aspect. But a lot of people are fans of Alex Straza, and she's not died yet.
Maybe next patch.
Nah. If I'm pretty sure it's like if Alex Straza dies, it's if she dies or they riot. Like they're gonna lose their mind. People will lose their freaking mind.
Well, see, that's kind of what I meant earlier. Like, I could just mention one freaking thing that I didn't even mention the proper name of, and you kind of go in like a tangent on this.
I've played this game for years. Leave me alone.
So I kind of want to get to that point with most games.
Yeah.
And I think we will. I mean, the more we kind of talk about it, the more every time I talk to you about lore, I learn something. So it's kind of the whole point of this whole Lore Books podcast, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys are looking forward to it as much as we're looking forward to creating it.
Yeah. And with the cool thing about Lore Books being announced and finally coming to fruition where we can actually share it, that means that we can actually get into lore, a DigiTavern production, which is the one that we've been waiting on for a while. And what we can do here, since it's going to be a long time for us to kind of like reveal it, I guess you can say, we can drop a little snippet in this podcast with that, and just to kind of tease it, and we'll do that here. So
yeah, I got a little preview on. Turn up your volume just a bit.
I know exactly what I'll be doing about it, son of Hellscream. I'll be watching as your people slowly become aware of your ineptitude. I'll laugh as the day grows to despise you as I do. And when the time comes that your failure is complete and your power is meaningless, I will be there to end your rule swiftly.
And that's kind of the project that
silently.
I've been working on for a year now or something like that. It's been a while because I showed you that little clip a long time ago.
Yeah, it's just pretty sweet stuff.
So those are going to be pretty cool going forward, and I'm very excited to share that with you guys.
So with that, let's this weekend we are gonna go to Critgamer LAN party. I know we talked about it like briefly on podcast 2, I believe. On episode 2, we talked about the Critgamer, or was it when we were talking about, or was it when we were talking about QuakeCon? Yeah, when we were talking about QuakeCon, we kind of talked about the Critgamer LAN party.
Yep.
I found this, so you guys may now know. If you didn't know, now you know. We are
Now you
based
know.
off Dallas, Fort Worth. We're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Mhm.
I think I went to like Meetup or something, meetup.com, or I forgot how I found it. It was online for sure, and it takes place in Tyler, Texas, which is
Yep.
about an hour, 2 hours, whatever,
It's about 2 hours.
away from the Dallas Metroplex. And we went there with me and my friend Matthew. I think the first time it was just me and Matthew. And the first time it was like at a church or something like that. But yeah, it's really cool. It's a little bit smaller than QuakeCon, but really, if you guys hear about it, they have them. I don't know how many times a year. Probably 2 or 3 times a year they have these out.
Yeah, looking at their Twitter account, it seems like they kind of host these kind of events out in East Texas a fair amount of times.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Maybe we'll see
yeah.
one of you guys one day over there. Be tight. For me, I'm expecting it to be just a day of just relaxing, playing
Yeah.
some games, just chilling. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's your first time going. I'm sure it is.
Because
your first
clearly we didn't have enough of that during QuakeCon, which
time. Yeah.
which was like a month or 2 months now away or something like that. I don't know.
I know, and then and we also got me and our friends kind of get together during the winter time, and we have a Winterland party. I remember one year we had the Winterland party. I decorated like my PC with like lights, like that go up on like a tree, like Christmas lights.
Yeah, I was like waiting for you to say Christmas lights.
Yeah, sorry. And no one was impressed. I was the only one who thought it was cool. Everyone was
Well,
like, "Yeah, sure."
Well, now you could just RGB set your lights to look like Christmas. So
Right? I could do like little candy corn, or no, not candy corn. Yeah, candy corn. No, that's,
candy corn is not Christmas, you fool.
wait, that's Halloween. Whatever. You know what I mean.
What a fucking idiot.
Santa Claus colors.
Santa Claus colors. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
that's a Critgamer. We're looking forward to this weekend. We might discuss it a little bit on our next podcast, just to kind of gauge how it went.
Yeah,
what
like
you thought
hopefully
about
we're looking to like expand the DigiTavern as far as we can, and since we've got episodes out there now, like we could be like, hey, listen to our podcast. We're on this and that and blah blah blah, but it's gonna be pretty cool because I think we have a really big market in the DFW area and in Texas in general with gaming, because Texas has a lot of like voice acting and companies that are really big into electronics that handle gaming and stuff like that. So it's really cool because we can build a community out there, and there's a community already established, and we can just kind of jump into it and just kind of be like, hey, this is us. We're at the DigiTavern. So it's a big part of like branding what we're doing here and making ourselves a little more open to where we are, like to Texas and stuff like that. So like that's cool, and I'm excited for that. So hopefully it goes well.
I'm sure it will. So real quickly, what have you been playing this week? Yeah, if anything. I know you mentioned you were pretty busy.
Yeah.
Have you had any time to sneak in some video games in there?
Well, the only thing that I've been playing right now, honestly, is I started the week playing Final Fantasy 14. And I was like going really strong on that. Renewed my 3 months. It's like, I'm going to be playing for the next 3 months real hardcore. I'm not going to play Classic. Monday came. Totally got into Classic. So it's like I'm starting all over again, playing World of Warcraft. And it was bound to happen because it's been a good 6 months since I've played it a lot.
Since
So
you
it
played
was
WoW?
Yeah, like every day, it was bound to happen. So I'm back in WoW, and but it just it's different now. Like it feels. I know I'm starting over, but it doesn't feel that way.
Interesting.
It's so weird because like if you've never played WoW when it first was out, it just feels like a completely different game right now. Like in comparison to what it is to the retail and classic, like it's night and day. It's the same game, it's the same content, you're doing the same thing, but it just feels different. And honestly, I'm riding a wave of nostalgia, and as per my 15 years to WoW podcast that I released on Friday last week, I'm riding a wave of nostalgia. I really and truly am, but it's all coming back to like why I play the game. And I'm at work and I'm singing, like I'm humming the Lion's Pride Inn song at work. So it's like that's how I know I'm deep in the taint right now. So, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
it's gonna be interesting once I start playing it, just because I'm not gonna have any of that nostalgia.
Yeah.
What if I'm like, man, this sucks. This is lame. These graphics, ugh, lame.
Well, see, that's funny because it's like in the settings, like you can change the settings of the game from like ultra, or you can change them down to like classic, which is like really old school look.
Yeah, and I'm
And
just kidding. I'm not a big like. It's got to look the best, you know.
Yeah, you are.
I'm more like. I honestly think I will like it because I believe I did play like they had like a beta at one point.
Yeah.
And one of the things people were like talking about was like you gotta keep up with your ammunition, like in your arrows and stuff.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's
I was
the
like,
thing.
that
now.
is awesome. That's how
I forgot
that's
about
the kind
that.
of game that I want to play. Like it's harder. You actually have to go over there and retrieve your arrows, maybe
To
get
buy
them
more.
back or
Yep,
get more.
Yep.
You have to prepare to actually go to like a dungeon. Make sure you have food. Make sure you
You
have
got to make sure you
things.
eat. Yep.
And like I was like, dude, that's the game I've been wanting to play. You know, that's the type of MMO I've been wanting to play for a long time. So,
But you can't respec in this game, so prepare for
Whatever.
that.
that's fine.
But see, and that's the cool thing about like classic being out now, because going back and playing it, everyone's kind of like, at least in chat, on what I mean, everyone's kind of like telling players who are just starting, like, hey, you need to do this, you need to prepare for this and this way, and I cover this again, like in that
I play however I
podcast.
want.
But the thing is, like, it's not that they're telling you what to do; they're just being really helpful, and it's been such a long time since I've seen that side of the WoW community. Like, there are some
Interaction
places,
with like
yeah, like interactions, yes, and that's the big thing. Is like because you can stand all day long in Stormwind, and no one will really say anything of worth. But right now, like people are having full blown conversations in chat again, and that's kind of one of the things that's like, wow, like this game is actually alive right now, and it's kind of awesome. And
I'm curious to see how long that wave of nostalgia lasts, and if people are gonna eventually move back over to. I think they
That's a-
are.
I mean, it's gonna happen. Like it really is, because as I'm playing classic right now, I'm just thinking about all the things that I left in the retail version. So I'm thinking to myself like, oh, I have to go back and I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. But I'm enjoying it for what it is right now. Like I'm enjoying the fact that like I have to help people and they're helping me. I'm buffing them for like 30 minutes and they're buffing me in return. Like it's fun right now. Like it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I will jump into it probably this weekend. So.
Critgamer.
Yeah, I'm curious. Maybe there's people there who are going to be playing. Should
Bet
be
you anything,
interesting,
yeah.
you know?
That'd be cool. What's funny is that
Get
I got
guilds going or something.
that'd be sick. I got a guy at work back into playing it, and he's not played it since Wrath of the Lich King, I think he said. He's not played it in like 15 years. No, that's wrong.
For like
He's
10
at-
years.
Yeah, it's been like 10 years. He hasn't played in 10 years. And
That's a big gap there.
he texted me like at 1 in the morning one day. I think it was on Friday night. He texted me. He's like, I just downloaded it. The next day I saw him at work. He looked really tired. He goes, I was looking for you all day. I was like, okay, what's up? He's like, I got 3 hours of sleep last night. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm back into WoW. I was like, yes.
You know what I want to do? Like, it might be corny as hell, but I do remember seeing like these freaking videos of people playing WoW, and it would be like Linkin Park or something. Like they'd have the music playing, and it'd just be them like raiding, and it'd be like, I don't know, like it's like old school like AFV or like anime music videos. You know, they would just take anime and then like they take like rock music and like mix them together. So I might do a video like that. It'd be interesting because I do remember seeing those a while back for World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen those lately. Like now it's more people like, so now I'm doing this, doing that. You know, there's not a lot of just videos out there. People just destroying things for fun with rock music playing in the background.
You're describing Travis.
He still does that?
No, that's what he used to do, though.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I need to see some of his videos.
Well, I don't think he was doing like YouTube stuff back then. That was just him. Like, I think he told me once that he would just like play like hardcore rock music and just like listen to that as he was like doing raids or dungeons or battlegrounds or whatever.
Yeah, I remember
And
seeing a lot of those videos like back when
That's-
like, YouTube just started out.
Yeah, that's
Especially
old
when
school.
like Leroy Jenkins and all that.
Leroy
Like it was
Jenkins.
around that time. Like I think I went on like a little binge because I saw someone said, "Hey, look at this Leroy video," and I was like, "Cool." And then I kind of went into all those other ones,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yo, this looks dope." But at the time, I don't think my PC could play it, so I didn't even bother.
I won't lie that I think when I first started playing WoW, or when I first started getting into the PvP scene of WoW, I was really like overwhelmed because I didn't know, because you know you have to respec and you have to like set your gear to be like PvP based.
respec.
Well, you have to respect your gear and your abilities. Like you have to change your abilities to be like for PvP. You can't just go in like PvE style because then you're gonna get destroyed. You have to set it up to be a PvP. And when I finally started getting into it, and I figured out how I wanted to do things, like I got to a point where I was like, I put music on, and I just jump into it and just PvP, and that's all I was doing, just like PvP left and right, just like. And as a druid, like I could do whatever I wanted. I could tank, I could heal, I could do DPS. I was just doing everything, just going back and forth, and that's why I played not Legion, but Battle for Azeroth so much a little bit earlier in the year because it's basically all PvP. So it's just like jumping in
cool.
and just like fighting like left and right. That was fun for me, but thinking about it now, I'm like, ooh, that sounds like a good idea right now, just to start PvP, just to go back into PvP. But no, I mean, I'm pretty happy with Classic right now, and I'm glad to be back. And I think the community is really cool right now, and it'll go back to its usual self in time, but it's a good time to jump in and play.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. For sure.
Did you see that video that they released, the 215 years thing?
It was only a couple minutes long.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did. I thought it was legit like a 15-minute video for some reason. And I'm like, I'm not gonna watch that.
That'd be
Like,
awesome.
I'm not gonna know what anything's going on.
But
I do like how they did it. Like it's like a bard singing a song, which is pretty cool.
It's funny because if you stop it when at the end of the video where they kind of toast one last time, if you pause it and you look on the right side of where the bard is standing on the table, there is a Starbucks cup. So they did the Game of Thrones thing where it's like there's a Starbucks cup sitting on the table,
Nice.
And I thought that was awesome. Like, they got Hodor, they've got what's her face, Ronda Rousey in there. Matthew Mercer's in it. I thought that was great because it's like all the people in one little video, and that was really cool.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was pretty cool. Honestly, I didn't get it as much as you because I don't know who half those people were, but
Yeah,
it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like the way they did it.
yeah, that video was very much like
For the people who've been playing.
Yeah, and it's like, oh man, it's like the fields are all coming back, and I don't know. It's been such a long time playing this game, so I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna be one of those dudes in my 50s still playing Watch. Yeah, I don't have like arm braces on my hands and stuff because I have carpal tunnel syndrome. It's gonna suck. Hopefully the game ends by then.
And then World of Warcraft 2 comes out.
Oh, God, I hope I'm dead by then. Because just think of all the lore that I'm going to miss.
All the new stuff that they can go back and delete just because they want to.
That's the only reason to have a child, so that I can pass that along.
For me, honestly, I haven't been playing much this week. I've been watching some TV shows. It's just one of those weeks where I just didn't really feel like playing that much.
Yeah.
But right
It
now,
happens.
like, I got some cool new headphones and I want to try them out. So that's all I want to do is just play.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap this podcast up so you can try them out.
Nope.
All right, guys. I'm Juani. This is Fredo. You've been listening to the DigiTavern here. And like always, we're super glad that you guys are listening and we're really excited to release lore books in the coming of weeks. And stay tuned for our next podcast. We'll be putting that out on Tuesday, as we have been lately. And if you can, and if you would be so nice, go to the Twitters and follow the DigiTavern. We're starting to build that up a little bit, and we want to make it a bigger thing. And if you also want to follow us, you can follow us on our personal ones. He's at Databotz with a Z. I'm J114, JWAN14. Anything else, Fredo?
No, not much. Have a great week, people.
Have a great week, people, and stay tuned for the next episode of the DigiTavern.
Adios.
Adios.
Thank you.